Everyone, Matt Haywood here from the Star Wars Time Show, and it is that time of the month to do a Star Wars comic book recap breakdown to find out some cool new canon and just to be in the know with all things Star Wars. So today we're covering Star Wars number 22, which is a Crimson Reign crossover, which is a good thing because as soon as you open the cover, you are treated to the lovely Qi'ra showing up at the Rebel fleet to meet with General Leia. And check out General Leia in her kick-ass general-ish type of attire. Gotta love the lady. So anyways, Qi'ra's here to wheel and deal with the Rebel Alliance, because we know at this point in time she has caused chaos amongst the crime syndicates on purpose, with the end game of being able to take out Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. So she's going around kind of working her deal and trying to form new alliances, and it just so happens that she wants to form one with the Rebel Alliance through Leia herself. So she shows up on the home one and, like I said, tries to wheel and deal with Leia. But I really like the back and forth between these two lovers of Han Solo. You can see how strong both of these female characters are, and that even though they're not technically on the same side, they definitely have this, there's like a hidden level of respect between the two. So anyways, Qi'ra's here to make some deals and offer up some information in exchange for something from the Rebels. In particular, she is here to tell Leia about where the Rebels can find Captain Zara, the evil Empire Star Destroyer captain that's been going around taking out Rebel fleets, but more on that in a bit. So since she's chilling, visiting the Rebels, she wants to check in on an old friend Chewbacca, who we find is in a simulation of Jabba's palace, and as you can see, he is kicking ass and taking names of all of the famous bounty hunters that would inhabit Jabba's palace. And this is because we learn in the next slide that he's been doing these trainings and hollow, whatever you want to call it, in preparation for a solo mission to go save/rescue Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt's wall. You gotta remember, at this point in time, Han is now wall art. That was completed at the end of the War of the Bounty Hunters series from last summer. So I thought that was kind of some interesting canon here that initially, and Leia was kind of behind this plan for a solo Chewbacca rescue mission for Han. But he was planning that, and we know how it ends up. He ends up, him and Lando, Leia, Luke, the droids, they all get involved ultimately for the actual rescue of Han. But I did think this was a pretty interesting little bit of new canon. So anyways, while this is all going on and Qi'ra's trying to entice Leia with some wheeling and dealing, as I've said, we return to Tarkin's will here, and Zara, who, you know, is a pretty formidable Imperial officer. I mean, she was trained directly with Tarkin. She's ruthless. She's taken out almost every Rebel fleet but the one Leia is in command of. And we also learned a few issues back that she now has captured Shara Bey, who, for those that do not know, is Poe Dameron's mother. So, you know, she's torturing her, trying to get information, the Rebels' new coded languages that they use that we learned about many issues ago. Remember, they learned it from an ancient droid, Sith droid, I think, something like that. But she ultimately finds a threat that's going to work on Shara, and that's the fact that she knows that she has a little son named Poe. So once she makes that threat, Shara promises to wheel and deal. But before that happens, something takes place with our Rebel friends. So back over on Home 1, we get some other characters you may be familiar with. Holdo shows up, Captain Holdo at this point in time, not an admiral yet. And yes, Leia is a general at this point in time of the Star Wars timeline, which was never really made clear in the movies, so I guess that's some interesting canon too. As well as the fact that Holdo clearly likes to change her hair color style. I don't know if it's an age thing. She has a certain color for every decade she's alive, but here she's whipping a nice bright fire orange look, where when we meet her in TLJ, she's got that cutesy purple aesthetic going on. So anyways, this is where, you know, Qi'ra makes the deal and essentially says, hey Leia, I got two things for you. I can bring you or give you or lead you to where Zara is going to be so you can wipe her out once and for all with the full force of what's left with the Rebel fleet. And in the end, she, in exchange, really just wants to become the main resource supplier for the Rebel Alliance. So Crimson Dawn is now going to take over that contract to find supplies for the rebels, which they'd been sourcing with Holdo through other crime syndicates. So really, I mean, Qi'ra is a brilliant strategist. All of her chess pieces are kind of falling in place. Her plan so far is working out. But as we know from Crimson Reign, something ultimately is going to go bad, because we're being told from the future that Qi'ra is dead, and it's probably because of her plan to take out the Sith. But we don't learn any more on that in this issue, so moving on. So again, Qi'ra's hooked up the rebels. They're ready to go make an attack strike on Zara's ship. But in the meantime, Poe's dad, Kes Dameron, is going on his own secret mission to try and save Shara, who is on the same ship that the rebels are about to go and attack. So yeah, good for you, buddy. But here's the important thing, maybe the biggest bit of canon from this issue. If you are a diehard Star Wars fan and you've watched Star Wars Rebels, then you know that bearded gentleman wearing a hat is none other than Captain Rex from the Clone Wars and Bad Batch and Star Wars Rebels series. They don't name him in this comic. I don't know if it is for sure, but I'm telling you it is for sure. Just believe me. My Star Wars narcissism is strong, so I am right. But that's Captain Rex. So Captain Rex at some point in time was hanging out with the Dameron clan. You know, that maybe he went and had Thanksgiving with Poe. You name it. So I thought that was pretty rad to see Rex just randomly show up on this mission to save Shara Bay. But like I said, they're en route to the same Star Destroyer that the Rebel fleet is going to be pointed to, thanks to the information Qi'ra is giving them. But as they board, so Kes's team is about to board to go rescue his wife, the Imperials learn from the call that Deathstick made back in Crimson Reign number 3, I think, or maybe number 2, I forget which one, or maybe hell, even a Vader comic. Either way, remember Deathstick, if you've been following these, calls in a tip line to the Imperials about a Rebel base, which causes all Imperials to descend upon it. But now we learn this has all been Qi'ra's plan after all. 2, get the Imperials at a location to where the Rebels can attack them and pay off on her deal that I just explained that she made with Leia. So again, Qi'ra is a boss when it comes to long games and strategy in general. But yeah, like I said, if you remember this from a recap or 2 ago, Deathstick was here for another mission, but she called in the fleet to cause a diversion, but it was really all part of Crimson Dawn's plan to get Zara there, and then ultimately to lead the rebels to her to hopefully wipe her out. So as the issue ends, Zara realizes that she's been duped, but because she is such a hardcore military strategist and tactician, she is almost impressed by the fact that she has been ambushed. And she leaves us with, couldn't have planned it better myself. So there you go. That's Star Wars 22. Some interesting new canon in there with Chewbacca's solo mission to rescue Han, which obviously gets scrapped. But also the fact that Captain Rex was milling around going on these secret missions with members of Poe Dameron's family. You gotta love Star Wars comics, my friends. And just overall, the canon was great, but the issue itself was just fun. I really enjoyed the exchanges between Qi'ra and Leia. It's a shame these two never got time together in live action, because they even though they're on different factions and they might not agree with the way each other handles their business, their interactions together and their maneuvering with each other is choice. It's definitely fun to read. All right, my friends, if you dig these type of comic book breakdowns, I try to do them for Star Wars, Darth Vader, and currently the Crimson Reign miniseries. So make sure to sub to the YouTube channel by heading on down below, clicking subscribe, turning on notifications. Hell, why don't you even like the video and leave a comment, if you will. Please tell your friends. Star Wars Time Show. There's always time for Star Wars time. And if you like this, maybe you'll dig our podcast, which we live stream every Tuesday. So make sure to get in the know, like I said, by subscribing down below or heading to StarWarsTime.net to subscribe to a traditional podcast platform of your choice. And remember, my friends, if you listen and follow the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.